Hey guys, what's going on? Just back making another video. I wanted to make this video. I was listening to a podcast recently about a guy, who's launched a product. It's not, it's selling okay. I think he said like 4 or 5 units a day or something. And he's making like $1,000 profit a month. You guys know that right now I'm doing the RA stuff. I just started. I actually have my second shipment in the back of my truck right now, in the bed. I'm getting ready to take it to the store, UPS store, drop it off. But I wanted to say, I've only been at this, this is my second weekend doing Amazon FBA. And already I can tell why some people give up on this, because it is not easy. It's simple to do, but it's not easy. Like when I first, and don't get me wrong, I am not giving up by any sense of the word. I actually am having fun. Today I'm just like super exhausted. I was up really late last night getting these 2 shipments together, and I actually had to repack some stuff and do all that. But I was up real late last night, and I'm married, I have a son, and I got to spend time with them. So I didn't even I had about 40 items in this second shipment, and I spent basically last Thursday, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday sourcing. So I can see why a lot of people try to start doing this and they give up, because it is not easy. Like running around, going to different stores all the time, bringing all the stuff home, going through it, being in the store, scanning everything. Like when I normally, I shop at thrift stores and Walmart and stuff anyway, like, normally, without doing online arbitrage. So when I first heard about this thing, I was like, well, I'm already at these stores anyway, every weekend basically. Why? I might as well try and make some money while I'm spending my money and looking around at stuff. I might as well make money. But it is difficult, it is challenging. And I think that's why most people fail. It's just people don't want to put in the action. Like they thought they were going to, just go to the store and there was just going to be this big display of stuff, this big display of stuff to get, and that was going to be it. Like, okay, I'll walk into the thrift store or I'll walk into Walmart, and there's just going to be a big table of like all this stuff for 50 cents, and I'm just going to buy it all and sell it all for like $50 or $20 or whatever, and it'll be that easy. It is not easy going around and sourcing all this stuff and sitting there every 5 minutes and scanning everything, and seeing if it is. Going through your cart, and and it gets frustrating. You got like 50 items in your cart or whatever, you scan them and only like 3 end up working out for you. It can be really frustrating. And a lot of free time. Like I told you guys, I work out 6 days a week, and actually the first week I put into this Amazon thing, which was last week, I basically took the whole week off from the gym. And it's important to do that anyway every once in a while, to kind of break up the routine. But today is supposed to be my first day back at the gym after a week, and I am flipping exhausted. Like it's early in the morning here, so maybe I'll get a second win later, but I am like so flipping exhausted right now. It's not even funny. So but it's tough, man. It's like I said, I started last night at about 7 o'clock, and it took me 3 hours basically to inventory 40 items, get them all onto Amazon, print all the labels, get everything checked in and packed into the boxes. And so I basically went to bed. I finished at 10, and it's hard for me sometimes to just like go right to bed. So, I had to wind down a little bit, check a little email, just kind of hang out. So I went to bed about 10:30, between 10:30 and 11 o'clock. And I did not sleep well at all. In my normal job, my alarm goes off at 4:45. I was tossing and turning all night. And this is one of those days where, you question yourself. You're like, man, because it's a second job. What you're doing, what I'm doing right now is a second job. So I'm basically putting in. Now, I don't really count the hours on the weekends like that I'm shopping, because like I said, and maybe a couple of them, like I normally don't go to, usually I'll try to hit 2 or 3 thrift stores a day on like Saturday and Sunday. Now, normally I would only do it on Sunday with my son and my mom, but it's, so I'll count that as work. So maybe I worked on Thursday, I went to some thrift stores. So I probably worked, probably a total of, we'll say for the week on Amazon from last Monday to yesterday being Sunday, I'd say I probably worked about a total of maybe, I'd have to add it all up, but say 10 to 15 hours. That's including prep time and everything. So it's, maybe we'll just be conservative and go up there to the 20 total. So I mean, it's a a part-time job, and I'm not seeing any returns yet. Like my first shipment hasn't even gotten to Amazon yet. I try not to look at it as far as where it's at, because I know, I feel like with UPS, like if I'm just sending stuff as a normal customer, non-FBA, that my stuff would get there. If I was shipping it to like somebody's house, it would have gotten there already. But I noticed on the Amazon labels it says FBA. So I feel like sometimes UPS, they just kind of look at that stuff. When they see that, they'll be like, oh, well, yeah, it'll get there eventually. I mean, we're not in any hurry to deliver it. You get this super discounted rate, so, we're not going to go speedy in delivering your stuff like all super fast or anything. But again, that's the price of doing business. Got a shipping scale yesterday. And this just goes to show you one of the things I was talking about last week on in my other video, the FBA rant, about people's psychological motivations. Like, I'll give you this is a perfect example. So I needed a shipping scale, because my last shipment I tried to do the bathroom scale thing, and it like totally didn't work out. All the numbers were wrong when I got the UPS receipt back. But so I was on Amazon Saturday night looking at shipping scales, and I saw one. It was like $25. I'm like, okay, cool, and it said get delivered, Amazon Prime. I think it was 30, and then non-Amazon Prime was like 25 or 26 or something, or not that big of a difference. But then the little thing when you're in your little cart, and it says if you want this delivered tomorrow, which would have been Sunday, order in the next 10 hours or whatever it is. So I was like, well, I'm going to sleep on it. That's still plenty of time. By the time I wake up, I still have time to order it in the morning. So I woke up, I looked at it, and I'm like, well, I need this today. I got all this stuff. I got 40 products. I want to get them out tonight. I need this scale. So I ordered it, and again, I went with and it only cost me an extra, $3 to get that delivered on Sunday. I bought it in the morning, Sunday morning, and it was at my house by 5 o'clock that day. I mean, that is just, again, that's what I'm talking about with the psychological stuff. Why FBA is awesome. Being able to be, Amazon Prime and all that stuff. But I'm a perfect example. I did exactly what I was saying last week. I went with the higher priced item total because I could get it that day. I mean, that's just amazing. Now, merchant people can't do that, really. They can't, unless they're going to pay, they're going to charge their customers extra for one-day shipping, overnight, like UPS or FedEx, next day air or whatever it is. And now, we don't have to do that kind of stuff. So that's a perfect example of what I was talking about. People's psychology, they want stuff now. You know, you can't drive to the store and get it, but if Amazon has given you the ability to buy it and have it the same freaking day, I mean, that's amazing. So I just wanted to make this video, and you know, I'm not giving up, but I can see the frustration because it has taken a toll on me. I've been up late a lot of nights during the week, you know, inventorying stuff. I got a private label product that I'm trying to develop right now. I'm trying to work out all the kinks on that deal. So, you know, don't give up, guys. I mean, it is frustrating. It is a second job, especially, you know, a lot of people will leave they will leave the risk on the table for security. You know, they won't get a full-time job, or they won't quit their job, or they'll take a part-time job, say at like 7-Eleven or something, just for the safety of that paycheck. You know, and I haven't gotten anything from Amazon yet. I haven't made any money. My shipments haven't gotten there, so it's probably going to take a good month or two before I even start to see anything significant. So just keep your heads up, guys. I mean, it is tough. You know, there's lots of success stories out there. That's what motivates me. But remember, you know, remember that old saying, motivation gets you started, but it's discipline. You know, the excitement is what gets you started. The excitement of seeing people's success stories, and you're like, oh man, I could totally do that. But when the rubber meets the road and you actually got to start doing it, you know, these are the times right now. This is where the discipline kicks in, because it's easy to just be excited, and then when you start it, you see how much work it is. Most people will be like, I don't want to bother with that. I'll try something else. So hang in there, guys. But you know, I'm keeping my head up, but I did just want to make this video just as like a little rant again. So I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Also, fire truck. Also, I just wanted to talk I wanted to mention about some other things, the benefits, like when you're doing this business, how, you know, it also benefits you. You find great deals too. You know, you don't always have to shop, you know, to sell. There's some awesome things that you can get for yourself. You know, perfect example, I was sourcing on Friday, and so I went into a thrift store and I was looking around for stuff, you know, and I'm finding some cool stuff. I came across a record player, brand new. What am I saying? The needle was brand new, but the record player was one of those old school like tape decks. You know, has the cassettes and the record player on the top. It was $9. I've been wanting a record player for a long time, and it reminded me of the one I had when I was a kid in school. So I found that for $9. The needle was brand new. It still had the thing was so new. It still had the friggin' plastic on it, which was amazing. I played some records over the weekend. It was really cool. The other thing that I found, a couple things, but in that same thrift store, I'm walking around and I'm just looking at some of the electronics and stuff, and I happen to see a laser printer, an HP, and if any guys want to Google this thing, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, how great of a deal this was. An HP 400 laser jet printer, black. Sitting, if I can remember, I'll try to put a link to it, but you could just Google, just type in HP 400 laser jet and see what those things are selling for. They're like $300, $250, $300, you know, all kinds of crazy prices. So I'm like, okay, you know, you got to be careful with stuff at the thrift store. This is what I've learned. My first time sourcing, I had some great products, some good electronics, but when I got them home, I started thinking about it, and I'm like, you know, the problem with electronics, some of them you can't test. Like, there was this printer, this photo printer. There was a photo printer, you know, an HP, like, Selfie, I think it's called. And the thing was like $8, and it looked in really good shape. But it didn't have the cables, it needs special paper and stuff. I bought it, and I took it home, and then I was like, no, you know, I brought it back, because I don't have a way to test that. Like, I'm not going to go out and buy brand new paper and stuff. I don't have a way to test it. Same thing with like video game stuff. I don't have a video game consoles. I only have old school ones like Nintendo and Sega. You know, if it's those, sure, I'll test them, but I don't have like an Xbox 360 or a Rock Band, you know, Wii or whatever with the Rock Band stuff. Like I can't buy any of that stuff because I can't test it, and I don't want to risk any of the negative feedbacks or anything. So I'm trying to stay away from electronics I can't test. So anyway, so I'm looking at this printer, and I'm like, okay, that's an expensive ass printer, and something's got to be wrong with it. Like normal people just don't give away $400, $300 printers that look brand new. Like this thing was amazing. I'm like, something has to be wrong with it. Or, you know, maybe you get lucky and like a company goes out of business, a small company, and they just donate all of the stuff because they don't have time to sell it. They got to get out of the building or whatever. You could get lucky on that. But my experience with electronics, 99% of the time, electronics are in the thrift stores for a reason. So I'm like, okay. So I grab this thing. I'm like, well, let me test it first, because if this thing freaking works, it's going to be a good find. And for those of you who have seen my other video, the Dymo, I bought that Dymo printer, you know, and it's very frustrating because you got to print one label out at a time and all that. So anyway, I get this printer. I'm like, okay, well, let me see where we're at with this thing. So I grab the printer, I put it on the little testing center, and I'm just checking it out real quick. It's got toner in there. I was like, wow, it's got toner. It even had paper in there. Freaking paper was still in there. So somebody just, like, looks like they brought it right from the office and just dumped it in there. So I plug it in, thing powers on. I'm like, okay, cool. So I navigate, because I don't have a computer, that, you know, there's only certain things I can test. I asked the guy before